Okay, well, it's what's today? Monday. No, today's Tuesday. And we're beginning on this. You see, I got the front bumper off. Using the lift appears to be quite a advantage. Never had that before. Did this alone. I put 2 soul horses underneath there and loosened everything. Lowered it down so the bumper was just touching the horse and took the bolts out. No problem. So right now, bumper's over here. And once I get some help, I'm not going to try and horse it up there alone. It's pretty heavy and awkward. Once I get some help, I will close the door, put a couple of ladders over here, and put it up there. Along with other stuff. A lot of other stuff probably. I'm going to take the front clip off when I do all of this. So first thing that'll come off obviously is the hood. And I'm not going to put that up there, I don't think. I'm not sure. Maybe I will. If I can find a nice secure spot for it, a level flat spot, and it isn't too much of a bear to get it up there, that would be a good place for it because it certainly would be out of harm's way. And if you stand them up on the back corners, even if you put something underneath them, the paint always chips off those corners. There's too much pressure on the paint on those corners. So maybe I will put it up there. Put a couple of furniture blankets or something up there and lay it flat with the front hanging over the edge or something. That might work well. But then the front clip will want to take off, which means I have to remove these rocker moldings because the front clip bolts on, the fender bolts on behind the molding, and the molding's attached to the fender. So if I want to take the fender off, the molding's got to go too. And I did some research last night. Looked up trying to find out how to get these off, and I couldn't find any YouTube videos, but I did find directions at Danchuk as to how to put them on. So I have some idea, and they got little clips. There's a bolt. There's one bolt that goes through the fender right back here. It has one of those PAL nuts, a sheet metal nut that clamps it to the fender. So take that off, and then the little directions give you dimensions. So I can, if it's done according to that, I can tell where the clips are going to be. And my understanding is you simply just have to pry them off of the clips. I'm a little concerned about that, but we'll see how it goes. I don't want to bend it, in other words. They're nice. They're not in bad shape at all. So if I can take it off and put it back without deforming it, I won't have to buy new ones, which I'm not looking forward to doing, obviously. So here goes. We'll see what happens. I taped it. I've got the door open so you can't see very well. I taped the paint just above the molding because what I understand happens when you put these on, you clip the bottom, you hook the bottom, and you push the molding over the clip at the top. So I think I need to do the reverse of that to get it off. Kind of hold it up as tight as I can on the bottom and pull the top out away from the body over the top of the little clip. So I'm going to try that and see where it goes. Anyway, like I say, I've protected the paint as much as I can with some blue masking tape. See what it does. More later. Okay, well, I got those off without doing any damage. Didn't even tape this side. Once I learned from the other side what I had to do and how difficult or easy they were to get off. They snap off actually remarkably easier than I suspected or expected. So, got one actual fastener. You see I've got it taped on there so I don't lose it. There is a little stud that goes through that hole. You see it there? There it is. And it's got a little nut on the back. And then the rest is just snap-on. And like I said, they come off remarkably easy. You see, here's the first little glitch we're going to run into. Yeah, the fender bolts to a clip back here on a bracket from the chassis. Well, this one here, the nut or whatever was supposed to be there, is gone. I noticed this from underneath the car, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And so what they did when they did the body work, if you see here, they tack welded it there to the rocker panel. So what I'm going to have to do, the first thing we're going to have to do to get this clip off is get the little cutting disc in here and grind those welds so that the clip will come loose. The fender will come away from the rest of the body. This morning I was on the phone with Danchuk, again trying to get some direction on how to get these off, and I got no more than what I had researched last night. I found the directions to putting them on, and the guy talked to one of the other techs and he said they just pull off, and that was pretty accurate actually. But I ordered a fastener kit for the front clip, stainless steel fastener kit for the front clip, so hopefully it will have the it's under here, it will have the stuff I need to do that properly so we can fix it. So again, I got both sides off and the bumper off. So it's a little one, but it's a start. All right, so I'm going to put this back on the ground. You remember the other day when I was working on the motor on the test stand, I discovered that the old alternator that's on there wasn't making any voltage. Should be making like 14 volts and it was under 12. So I think what I'm going to do is take the alternator off of this. And is this locked? Take the alternator off of this, which is another one that's not that new, but it works. So I'm going to take the alternator off of this, I think, and put it on the test stand. And I can't show you now because the door's in the way, but up above the door there's a shelf, and I've got a new one up there. When I was ordering the parts for the new motor, actually my son ordered an alternator that I didn't like the way it looked. And I ordered a different one, and rather than return that one, I kept it, and it looks like it's going to be, you know, fate. It's going to get used on this motor. I intend to take this motor out without taking any of it apart. And I have another car that I want to drop it into. I have a 40 Ford two-door sedan. That's another one of these long-term projects. That I've had that 40 for probably damn near as long as that motor's been sitting. I've had that 40 probably 20 to 25 years, and during that time I started on the 40. I stored it for 3 or 4 years at a friend's house in a makeshift kind of a shed enclosure, and brought it home from there and took the body off of it, cleaned up the frame, and did one of those it's got a Heinz Mustang 2 independent front suspension and the parallel leaf rear springs, and the frame is all painted. All the metal work that it needed has been done. It's got a coat of that red oxide primer on it, and it's got the motor mounts installed for the small block and the turbo 350, and it's got a Mustang 8-inch rear end, a Ford rear end. Disc brakes on the front, obviously, with the Mustang 2 thing. So it's all ready for a motor, and I was building a motor that I was going to put in there. I had started it a long time ago. It's that motor you see back there on the little roll-around stand. It's the block, the crank is in it. I think it's got one piston and a connecting rod in it, and that's as far as I got with that motor, and that was a long time ago. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to take this motor out. Since it's a nice running motor, I think all it needs is a valve job. It had a tune-up probably 300 miles ago, so it runs real nice. And I'm going to put it in the 40. And maybe, I'm not sure. The plan has been to do the Model 8 pickup. And that's another long story, too long to tell right now. But the Model A interrupted the work on the 40, so the 40 got on the back burner. The Model A was going to get done quick and easy, and they're both projects. Neither one got done. And the plan was to do the Model A, but that's kind of up for grabs right now. If I put this in the 40, I probably could have the 40 on the road quicker, and it's kind of perfect in that the body is really cherry, but it's like a barn find body. It's partly the old green Ford color, and it's got primer spots on it, and then no dents, but it's got like what you would call patina. So I might do that one before I finish the Model A. I don't know. That's a tough choice. But anyway, that's the plan for this motor. So I'm going to put that alternator on it, on this motor. So it's got a nice new alternator on it. The manifold's already new. The carburetor's new. You know, like I say, 300 miles, 350 miles ago, something like that. All that stuff was new. The radiator got boiled out. That's when I got this car, about 3.5 years ago. And again, that's the amount of miles I've put on it in 3.5 years. It sits a lot. Anyway, enough for now. This is getting awful long. See ya.